Get ready, because what you're about to see today makes absolutely no sense at all. We're going back 150 years to Anderssen. Playing with the white pieces, he sacrificed everything and won one of history's most brilliant games. But the important thing is the lesson this game leaves us, which we'll cover in today's session. He understood something that almost nobody gets. The initiative is worth more than any single piece. We've said this many times, and today we're going to prove it. What you're about to see isn't a normal game, it's a timeless lesson on how to attack without fear. So get ready, because after this, you'll never attack the same way again. The game began with e4, e5, and probably the most aggressive response for white, which is f4, the king's gambit. This is an extremely aggressive opening, because by the second move, we're giving away a pawn in exchange for, in theory, nothing, right? One of the most logical variations here is to play knight f3. Why? Because then we prevent this check from the queen. Since we've exposed the king, knight f3 would prevent this queen, h4, and white would be in their main variation of the king's gambit. However, here, Anderssen plays one of the most aggressive variations of the king's gambit, which is this bishop c4. Obviously, black doesn't hesitate for a single second. They take advantage of the fact that the bishop was developed instead of the knight to bring the queen to h4 and give this spectacular check to the king. Would it be possible, chess teacher, to play g3 now? No, that would be a serious mistake. Why? Because after pawn takes pawn, we couldn't take back because we'd lose the rook. So here we are forced to play. King fun. Things are looking good, right? Well, you'll see, because this is only the beginning. b5. As you can see, black thinks exactly like white. They're willing to sacrifice material to maintain the initiative. What are they trying to do with this b5? Divert the bishop from this diagonal, which points to f7, to keep it controlled on a diagonal that currently does absolutely nothing. And with a simple move, like c6, the bishop would be under control. Got it? If you notice my voice sounds a bit off, I'm making an effort because my throat really hurts, but I didn't want to leave you without your daily lesson. So if you support me with a like, you really don't know how happy that would make me. The game continued with this move right here, knight f6. Look at how the pawns open up to make way for the knight. This chess set is spectacular. You know we featured it several times on the channel, so as not to bother you too much at the end of the video. I'll talk about it only for those who are interested. The game continued with knight f3 now, quickly. Anderssen says, "Queen, what are you trying to do? You're bothering me a bit here." And the queen retreats to h6. Anderssen continues with the move d3. Exactly. Why? Well, to try to develop this bishop, and now a pawn is being threatened with the queen behind it. This bishop suddenly starts to get active. It's true that for now, bishop takes pawn isn't a threat because it's defended, but it's also true that bishop is getting better and better. A pretty strong move by the black pieces, knight h5. What's the threat? What does knight h5 threaten, finds? It threatens the following move, knight g3. And as you can see, the rook would be lost here. It couldn't be captured because the queen is pinning this pawn. Therefore, what this knight h5 is threatening is knight g3. Very low. How do we stop this, then? Well, there are a few ways to do it, honestly. One of the best ways, perhaps the only one, besides moving the king to g1, which would be very sad, is what Anderssen did in the game, knight h4. The idea is to cut off this advance of the queen, so that if knight g3 now, it would be a mistake because we'd simply do pawn takes knight and we'd be winning a piece. The queen continues to penetrate through g5. Now the white pieces are threatening again. The got-to point, it's true that it's well defended, but it's also true that it could be threatened at some point by advancing with their pieces and their bishop. Wait, chess teacher, one thing. How can it be that you told me white sacrifices material to attack if what I'm seeing is that black is the one attacking? Careful, because they're attacking pointlessly, okay? For now, it's true that, well, it might seem like he's placing the pieces more or less correctly. However, either you checkmate me or I'm gonna crush you. And you'll see, because Anderssen's lesson, I'm telling you truly, is one of the most spectacular lessons I've seen in my life. The only move to save both pieces, knight f5. As you can see, the knight was being threatened and the bishop was being threatened. There's no other move that can avoid this double attack. This way, with the knight, we cut off the rank so that the queen can't take either the knight or the bishop. C6. I'm sure many of you here would be thinking about retreating the bishop to c4 or retreating it to a4. The truth is that Anderssen wasn't in the mood for that nonsense. He was going further. G4. Now I'm threatening this knight so that if you capture my bishop, I'm going to capture your knight. Or even better, I'm going to play h4, threatening your queen. And this would be a bit dangerous. That's why knight f6 seems more prudent. The knight moves away, and now this bishop on b5 is still being threatened. The game continues with rook g1, a completely logical move. Why? Because with the knight jump to f6, this pawn on g4 is being doubly threatened by the knight and the queen. Rook g1 not only defends the pawn, but also prepares the rook for a possible attack along this file. You'll see that here the queen is already starting to be quite trapped back there, you see? That's why here, black must already start being a bit careful, to protect that queen a little and free up some space so as not to lose her. They make a mistake, they take the bishop. Don't tell me you don't have greedy friends who always take a piece whenever they can. So this is where we have to take advantage. How do we keep pressing in this position? You know that in these types of lessons, whenever you want, you can pause the video and try to think for yourselves. The key idea here is that we must try to put pressure on this flank over here. We want to play h4. Would h4 be a good move now? Probably so, and that's what Anderssen does. Why? Because it threatens the queen. This pawn is well defended. And this other one is also well defended, since this knight defends it without any problem at all. The queen retreats to her only free square. She has no other choice. And now, many of you would think, let's see, I can keep threatening the queen, but she'd just come back here and I'd have no way to threaten her. Well, that's precisely what Anderssen does. He plays h5, and the queen simply returns to her original position. Wait, Chesnicher, this makes no sense because I've given the black pieces. This escape square. Careful. Is this queen on a safe square? Yes. Does this queen have any other squares to move to? No, not one. See? It's starting to get dangerous. In other words, if we could move twice now, we'd play, for example, queen f3 and bishop takes f4, and we'd win the queen. That's why here, indeed, the best move in the position is the one Anderssen made, queen f3. Danger for the enemy queen. That queen can still be saved, but her retreat is a bit sad. They have to move this knight to give the queen an escape route, see? Where does black retreat the knight? Well, as you can see, there's no other move but knight. g8. It's very sad. Yes, it's very sad. Look at how the knight goes back home, but there's just no other way. At this point, it's true that white can capture on f4, and in fact, that's what they do. But black has at least managed to find a good retreat for their queen. How do you see the position? For now, we're a piece down, but naturally, I'm sure you all like the position of the white pieces. The queen has to retreat, and the idea is that we must keep attacking, so why don't we bring in the last minor piece we have left? So it's true, our opponent has an extra piece, but look at how active our pieces are. It's very important, very important, that in your games you keep your pieces active. No matter how much of a material advantage you have, if all your pieces are on the background, as in this case, it won't do you any good. Absolutely no good at all. The game continued in the following way. Bishop c5, the rook is under attack. Where do you think Anderssen moved that rook? You know where he moved it, right? For now, he didn't move it. Knight d5 threatens the queen, and also threatens something else. Knight c7 check, and I take the rook. So if they attack my rook, I can launch a much better attack, right? A much more powerful one, which is threatening the queen. Queen takes b2, excessive greed. What do you think? Do you think this queen takes b2 is a good move? Interesting. One rook is threatened, the other is threatened, but nevertheless, he's allowing knight c7. Retreat that. That here, black might be getting a little too carried away with material. You know that materialism is one of the sins of chess? Taking too much material while losing the initiative. And in this game, it's completely, how do you say it? Proven, right? Bishop d6, and this game is about to collapse. Why? If bishop takes bishop followed, then knight takes would follow. And that king would have practically no escape because bishop takes would follow. Knight takes, the king would go to f8, and checkmate would come through here. So it's clear that this bishop can't be captured for now. But the black player says, well, then I'll take your rook. I'm not taking that bishop, I'm taking the rook. Excessive greed? I've been telling you this the whole time. And watch how the game ends now. He takes the bishop, moves the rook. What will the white player do? He advances a pawn. What do you think? Impressive or what? In this way, what he's doing with this pawn advance is further restricting any kind of option for the black pieces. But wait, chess teacher, you're going a bit crazy. Now black can capture this rook, and they've captured both rooks, and with check too. Queen takes a 1, I take both rooks with check, and with x-ray, I defend the bishop. It's impossible, chess teacher. But this could be bad for black. Careful. No matter how much extra material you have, in this case, a rook, another rook, and a bishop, look, I have 3 minor pieces attacking while you've completely ignored the defense. So the game simply ended this way. We have to move out a check. King e2 seems like the most logical move. Knight, 6 defending the c7 square. This square's dangerous because we could enter at any moment with the knight. And then white continues with knight takes g7. The king have to move, only move. King gate. And now, let's see who can find the checkmate before I say it. It's a wonderful checkmate and 4 moves, and it contains another sacrifice. We've sacrificed a pawn first, then the bishop, then both rooks. And watch out, because I'm giving the solution, now the queen is sacrificed on f6. Don't tell me this isn't spectacular. The only option the black pieces have here is to capture that queen. If he moves the king, he can't move it because it's illegal. If he places the knight on e7, queen takes e7 checkmate. So the only move the black pieces have here is, okay, sounds good, I'll accept that queen sacrifice and see what you have in store for me. The idea is that now, simply after this queen sacrifice, the move that ends up winning the game is bishop e7 checkmate, since this knight is covering this exit, and this knight the exit through e8. Don't tell me this isn't spectacular. To be honest, it seems that way to me. As spectacular as this board, which is impressive, you can analyze your games, play online, it moves on its own, as you can see. If you want, you can press a button it has here that you can't see right now. In fact, look, I'm gonna show you. I'm loading the chess game. You press this button here, and you know what happens? The pieces simply set themselves up at the start of the game, meaning you don't even have to think about resetting them or bother touching the pieces. The idea is that whenever I bring you things like this to the channel, I talk to the store that carries these products, so they can give you an exclusive discount. It's true that it's a very expensive product, that's obvious. However, I've also gotten a spectacularly good discount that anyone who's interested can simply take advantage of. The discount isn't just for this chess set, but for the entire store. You have this one, the chess set with the tablet, the screen here on the right. I'm sure you've seen it many times on the channel. The electronic, portable one, you have several. So I hope you loved this video. If you want, you can go to the website I'll leave for you down in the description. And as always, if you leave me a nice I'll appreciate it today more than ever because my throat really hurts. And we'll see each other now, once the bishop is in place, in the next video, friends. Bye.